Welcome, beautiful people. You are just now tuning in to Just Glow podcast, and I'm your host, Gloria Velez. And today's special guest was born with a legendary name, became king of Mambo, and I'm honored to have him, Tito Puente Jr. What up,
What's up,
papi?
Gloria V in the house, baby? Nice to see
Yes.
you.
It's a blessing to have you and an honor. Literally, literally. Your father's music, I was raised up on. Like, I have to tell you a little story because I've been dying to tell you this and I haven't told you this. When I was
Shoot.
5 years old in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, I used to drive my bike at Knickerbocker Park. And your father came out of nowhere, was playing for his people, and shook my dad's hand. People were taking pictures. He was so like reachable. I think that's why, and he loved music and he loved his people. And I feel like you have that in you as well. Like when I first met you through a mutual friend, you was warming, and your music and the way you play gave me goosebumps like your father. I had to put that out there because you're just amazing to me. That's why I
Thank
said
you.
you are king of mumbo, without a
Ah,
doubt.
gracias. That's so cool that you said that, and thank you for those kind words. Being a fellow New Yorker, I
Yes.
love my people from Brooklyn, New York and
Woo!
Williamsburg. I've been so puertorriqueño que vive allá in Williamsburg, and it
See?
was such a great time growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s in New York at that time because music was so electric, especially mambo and salsa music. We would go to all the clubs.
See.
I mean, we would go to El Morocco, Copacabana,
That's
L2,
right.
Latin Quarter. We would go to all the salsa clubs in Queens and in Brooklyn and the Bronx, and it was really, really special. But I'm glad that my father touched your heart in some sort of way
Yes.
with his music, and his
Yes.
music was
Yes.
so important to everybody.
Yeah, we're such proud people, Latin people, especially with our culture. We live it, we breathe it. I mean, even in school, I used to have my Puerto Rican flag running down the hallways. I mean, that's embedded in us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And with
yeah.
him, and we're just riding our bikes at 5 years old, listening to Latin music. And my dad used to play hit the records and put it
Mhm.
on in the house. Like,
Yeah,
it's just different for us. I wanted to ask you. I know that you just did Gaia Ocho this weekend in
yeah,
Miami, and you had a reunion, a 20-year reunion, and you was in a group called the Latin Rhythm. If y'all don't
yes.
know, you was rapping as well
That's
as
right.
playing instruments. Please do explain. And you was rapping good too. I was like, oh shit.
That's right.
What
That's
got
right.
you
And
started rapping?
I was rapping and doing the Latin dance and hip hop music. This was the early '90s, right out of the freestyle era. They started
Yes.
had a lot of Latin house music at the time. Little Louis Vega, Masters at Work, Kenny Dope. All the great DJs from Chicago were doing Latin house tracks,
Yes.
and I started getting into that too. And I was traveling with my father at the time too. And I got my old friends Jay Quan from the group The Nasty Boys, which was a '90s group that did freestyle, and his little
Yes.
brother Shy, and we had a reunion, but we performed back then a lot of dance music and Latin house music. So we traveled with Proyecto Uno, Los Ilegales, and
Oh
me and
God,
Sandy
that's
and
like
Papo. These are all very famous merengue pop bands at the time, and they were singing all kinds of songs. Fulanito was another one. Two in a Room. These are all old classic, old school freestyle and dance Latin house musicians, and we went on the road with them, and it was a really great time. So I did a 20-year reunion. Actually, it was more than 20 years. It was about 26 years since we did Calle Ocho together, and I got them on stage, and we don't dance like we used to, because back then we
right,
did a
right.
lot of flips, just like you in the music videos. So,
Yes, yes.
so
It is a little
I
different now.
yeah, I tried to do a little bit of the dance routine, and my hip was out. But we're all over. Well, I'm the middle guy, so I'm 50 now. Shy's about 40 something, and Jay's older than me, about a couple of years older than me. But it was nice to sing the songs again and do a reunion. And being at Calle Ocho after the 2-year hiatus that they went on due to the lockdown, it was
Right.
nice to be back there and seeing a lot of old faces and new generation. And it was a nice time. It was great.
Did you guys put out an album when you guys went on tour?
Yes, we did. The first record came out in 1994, and we were
Okay.
on. That's when I first moved down here. I'm originally from New York, and then I moved to
Right.
South Florida, back in
Like
right
we
after
all,
her.
like all of us.
Yeah, I met you, I think,
Yeah.
at that time too.
Yeah.
1993, we came right after the Andrew Hurricane, and at that time, Power 96 was a very popular radio station. There were a lot of
Yes.
DJs at the time. My man DJ Laz, Muhammad Moretta,
Yes,
and the
that's
list of
right.
cops on the radio. They were all like interactive with anything that was live performances. So I went as an old school, guy with my vinyl and my
Yes.
records in my hand. I went to all the clubs and I started pushing the song that we had. And I featured my father, Tito Puente, on the record. And it was called
That's
Sound of the
awesome.
Latin Rhythm. We pushed it to the radio station. The radio station kind of, I guess my name got me in the door a little bit, but the music really sounded fresh and new and innovative. So it was Latin house music at that time, 1994, 95. So we had some rotation. It got on the radio. We started doing the nightclubs. And then next thing you know, we got signed to EMI Records, Capitol.
Oh, wow.
We
That's
put
big.
out an
Yes,
album.
major.
Yeah, I worked with the EMI Capitol. This was right when the Selena thing all started too, when she, before her passing, of course. And they put us a couple of concerts with her, a couple of concerts with some other artists that were on the label as well. And we just took off from there, went on tour with Venezuela, South America, Central America, Honduras, Guatemala. I can go on with the places we've been to. But that's where it started. My father didn't like it too much. He was like, "What are you doing, house music?" Like,
I was just about to ask you that. Did he embrace that? Because it's so different from salsa, and house hip hop,
Honestly, honey, I was a rocker too. You knew that too. I love heavy metal and
me
rock
too,
music.
Me too. I love all genres of music, honestly. I love country. I love a little bit of everything. And you do jazz as well.
Jazz as well. But we're from New York, so we liked all types of music. We went from hip hop to salsa in a second. And then we loved freestyle and dance music. And then we would secretly go see Bon Jovi in the Meadowlands Arena.
Oh my God, that was the one I grew up on. That is so true.
I'm guilty. And
that's so crazy. I met
so
Bon Jovi. He has family in Coral Springs when I was young, and he was very, very nice.
Yeah. It's so cool seeing that mix of being Hispanic culture and of course rock music and everything. New York was just a melting pot at that era, and that's where I started playing drums. And I went to timbales when I started traveling with my father. And then as the 90s went on, we started performing a lot more. I did 3 more records for EMI, and then I worked with some different record labels, and we toured extensively until my father's passing in 2000. So I did a whole 10 years, well, maybe like 8 years solid, just touring. And I got my feet wet following Tito Puente and going on the road with my father. I would be like an opening act,
Oh, that's awesome.
It was great.
How did it feel? Like, what was your first time ever opening? Were you nervous? Were you sweating? Like, how did you feel opening up for him?
Yeah, well, I played with him a couple of times at that time in the 90s. I asked him to be in the music video we did for Sound Latin Rhythm. Then in 1996 or 95, pardon me, I re-recorded a song called Oye Como Va, which is very popular.
Yes, I remember that.
Carlos Santana redid the song in 1970s, but my father wrote it in 1963. And the record went #1 on Billboard charts, the dance version that we did in 1995. And I was like, wow, I can't believe a resurgence of an old classic tune made in the house music form. And at that time, house music was, dominating the airwaves.
Yes.
Very, very big. And at that time, I won a couple of awards, a Billboard Award, and we went to the Grammys with my father. And I said, can you be in the music video? And he said, well, what are you going to pay me, man? And I said, so I gave my father a kiss. I gave him a kiss.
Right.
And he said, man, your kisses are very expensive, brother.
Exactly.
But he did it from his heart. We won the award that year for Best Music Video of the Year. It was fantastic. I think I saw you there at the Billboard
yes.
Awards. And it was just great. And then after that, we traveled more with him until his untimely passing in 2000. And then I started picking up the clave rhythm, which is the Latin rhythm of timbales. And that's
so you picked it up after. You didn't pick it up during.
I did it during, because when I traveled with him, I was setting up his drums at the time, and I would watch his orchestra. So my father wasn't an advocate about teaching. He didn't really teach.
Really?
A lot of people were like, wow, you're
I was going to ask you that. So when you was young, he didn't put like sticks in your hands when you was little so you can bang?
Nothing like that. No, I was very smart. No, it was more like, you know, your parents tell you don't touch their things, don't touch this, don't touch that. My father had a lot of drums. Don't touch my drums. And what do you do as a kid? You go and start jamming on it.
Yes.
And that's how I kind of learned by ear. But I'm glad my father told me and taught me to go to school and learn. And that's where I learned to read and write. I went to Five Towns College, and I worked with a gentleman named Sam Milano, learned my rudiments, the rudiments of drumming. And that's where I really honed in on. And then I started gravitating towards that clave rhythm, which is like the conga rhythm that people know through Gloria Stefan, and the conga, the timbal, and all that. And it was great. It's such a blessing for me to be his son and then continue his legacy, but starting off in my humble beginnings in my beginning of my career.
Yeah. I believe that kids do need that, because it's hard. Even I have a son, and he's named after his father being an R&B legend, and they expect so much, and it's kind of a lot of pressure, you know, to be just as good or more better. And did you ever feel that pressure coming from such a, you know, iconic name? Yeah,
I did in the beginning. I was reluctant about performing his music simply because I was already doing dance music, and I already had my career going, G, and I wanted to keep going and flourishing with that. And I still love, you know, all my my counterparts that were with me at the time, and all the dance music and the freestyle artists that I work with from that era, and I still respect them, and I love that music, you know, always, and the rock music too as well. But after his passing, I was very reluctant in performing Tito Puente music, Latin jazz, salsa, mambo, you know, the two that really made him an icon and a legend, because I would have been compared to him. However, what I embraced is my quirkiness and who I am. And so when you come to my concerts, you're going to see, maybe I look like him a little bit without the white hair.
You guys do resemble each other, though. Yeah, for sure.
I do. And I embrace that. I named my son. Who might get a little bit of pressure too, Tito Puente Jr., the third. So, but you know, I don't want to push him.
Does he have it too? Does he
yet.
Love music? Not sure yet. He's still
young. I'm playing the music. He knows who his grandfather is. He's found in the last couple of years, actually like the past year, he's only 14. He just turned 14. He's finding more interest in his history. And I like that. You know, he's finding more interest in that. But the brand Tito Puente, I think he will embrace, and along with the rest of my children. And hopefully we can keep my father's name going. And I embrace it now. I was nervous in the beginning, but I embrace it.
Yeah, right. Because people make it pressure, but you have to have it in your soul. And when I first met you, had it in your soul. It's already was in you. You can't inbred that. You just have to. You just have it. When you play, it's just, I don't know. You know, you can give anybody an instrument and they can just play and just read the music. You play with your heart. It's a difference. There's definitely a freaking difference.
Feeling all the way.
Yes, and you are such an entrepreneur. I see that you have your own salsa sauce or ingredient sauce. I was like, what is this? Do explain, please.
I'm so grateful for many things and many blessings that I've experienced throughout the 22 years of playing my father's music and the 30 years I've been doing music professionally. But some of those things come in blessings that I never knew that I would get. And one of those was my wife. She came into my life and she taught me entrepreneurship, and saying, not only can we just perform music, we can build a brand with this whole thing. And that's what we do. We got a lot of, you can see right here, the t-shirts and stuff like that.
I need one. Yes. Awesome.
So during the last 2 years, we all went through the lockdown, and pandemic really brought a lot of light to my ideas. And one of them was, hey, why don't we do something that can coincide with a record that I put out, which was The King and I put out an album during the pandemic. So I would record everybody remotely. And I got some fantastic artists on the album: Sheila E., Pete Escobedo, Tony Vega, Jose Beto Canario. These are all salsa legends and Latin music icons that work with my father. So it's a tribute to him 20 years after his passing. At the same time,
this is the new album you just dropped.
Yes, it is. It's called The King and I. And I love it. It's on all digital platforms. If those of you love Mambo or salsa music, it's definitely a go-to record. And so I said, man, what could we do to really push it? Because we couldn't go out. You can't tour. You can't, we had to do a lot of the Zoom and all that in order to promote it. And I said, well, how can we sell a record or a unit? And my wife came up with the idea, let's do something that you've been wanting to do for a while. And I said, would it make sense to put out salsa music along with salsa,
Salsa
actual salsa?
sauce. Yes.
So I put out some picante sauce, and I put 4 different flavors. I got guava, I got maple syrup with mango, and they're fruit flavors, tamarindo, and of course sweet green pepper. And people can go and pick it up at myshopify.com. You get the album along with the 4 hot sauces. So I put it all together, and we've been doing great with it. I sell them at the shows too, and fantastic. People are loving it.
Smart. That's smart. I saw it. I was like, and I love salsa. I love like adding. I'm a dipper. I love everything spicy and hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you some salsa for your.
Yes, I gotta taste
you some
it.
Salsa. I don't even have. I'm out of stock right now, but I'm gonna get you some salsa.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, this album, this new album, you have legendary features on here. You was just on Good Day New York talking about homage to your father being. You was Mambo Kings. You just performed with the Bronx. Tell me how that was.
Yeah, I just performed recently in the Bronx with my 2 musical brothers, Tito Rodriguez Jr. and Machito Jr. Now, the 3 big Palladium orchestras from the era of the 1950s were very popular, which was Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, and Machito. So the sons of those icons put together a show. We put together a 3-act show in which we feature the music of our late fathers. And it's really music to be dancing to, so it was very hard for people to sit down in a performing arts center and not get up and enjoy it. But we did a show called Palladium in the New Millennium to bring this music to the new generation of kids. Now think about it, G. Tito Puente died 22 years ago, and Machito, of course, passed away prior to that, and along with Tito Rodriguez. So for 20 years or 22 years, the kids that were born at that time are now 22 years old. They never got to experience this music or see it live. So what we did is we wanted to get some of the original band members of those orchestras from that era, put together a big band, 21-piece orchestra, and we presented music to the fans. So we did a fantastic, great show in the Bronx and Lehman College last week. Now we're taking it on the road. We're taking it to Puerto Rico.
Yes, I was just about to ask that. Yes.
We're going to Puerto Rico in June. We're going to present it there. I know the fans are going to love it. And then from there, it looks like we're getting a little traction with it. So some agencies are coming to us. And the producers, Leo Tistol, and they are interested in bringing the big 3 Palladium. It's a nostalgic show, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's
I would love to
music,
see
but
that.
Your parents and your grandparents, they'll all love it.
Yes, I mean, me too. I love music. I love live band. It's nothing like live music.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice to see someone perform, but when you hear the music, it just hits differently. I don't know. How will you?
I'm a big fan of DJs, but sorry, DJs, I love performing live and live musicians around me. It's nice. It's nice to hear. You know what's missing is that those mistakes, those little improvisations. I get that from my horn players and percussion players, and I love that. And it just makes the feeling of dancing and performing live so much better.
I agree. So how was you guys received in the Bronx? How was the crowd when you guys were performing?
Man, girl, that's my hometown, girl.
I know.
The BX was in the house.
I know.
They would
oh
love
my God, because we used to have so many Latin festivals in New York, and I mean, obviously because of COVID, but even before COVID, we're missing a lot of that. So when you actually perform at a center or someplace, we come out.
They came out everywhere, and they were from all 5 boroughs. People came from other cities in the United States. They came from Florida, from Chicago. So some people from Los Angeles who flew in. It was nice to have that reunion of people and generations, because I saw young kids there. Eddie Torres Jr., who was in the movie In the Heights, on stage with me. His father was in the audience. He's one of the greatest mambo dancers of our generation. And it was nice to have that. My brother Ronnie participated too. He was there. My older brother, he got on stage with us. It was nice. It was
such a moment. Yes, that's huge.
Yeah, we captured it all.
I feel like you guys are gonna take that and run with it. It was on the newspaper. It was promoted pretty big.
I think in Puerto Rico, hopefully we'll capture it on film, which would be great. So that way we could use it as a tool. People could watch it streaming, whatever. But it was really
Yeah.
something to see. And if you weren't there, you missed it.
Exactly, exactly. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, I want to be there. You know, I
Yeah,
want to see
yeah.
this." I mean, who thought of the idea? Did you guys just, you guys talk to each other, or someone brought up the idea to you guys to do this?
We had a record out back in 2007 called the Big
Oh,
Three
okay.
Palladium Orchestra, where we recorded at the Blue Note in New York City, right on 4th Street. You know where it's at, right there in the
Yes,
Village.
yes.
And we recorded 4 nights over there with Mr. John Fausti, and we put it out, and it did very, very well for us. And then from there, we toured. We went overseas.
Oh, so
Extremely
you did tour
popular. This
together
music
before?
is so
Okay.
popular in like festivals in Spain, in Sweden, and we went everywhere. It was just amazing how people tuned into it. Turkey, Germany. It was countries that you wouldn't think they would understand Latin music and Latin
Right.
jazz music,
It's
but
the
they did.
rhythm. It's the rhythm and the soul. I'm
Right.
telling you, they don't got to
That's
understand the
right.
words.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a language everybody
That's
understood
right.
it. And then we did that tour, and then we kind of went on a hiatus for a little bit because I was doing my own career. I was putting out my
Right.
own records and doing my own thing and touring as my Tito Puente Jr., my orchestra. And then late last year, they said, hey, now that things are starting to come around, live music should be coming back. We want to plan for the future. The Bronx was interested in having this amazing show of that era, that generation of the 1950s era, and presenting it. And a producer came to us, and we all collectively all came together, and we said, let's do it again. So it's been like a 13-year hiatus for us since the last tour we did with the Big Three Palladium Orchestra, but it was nice to be on stage. This year has been so far reunions. It's been
Yes, I
crazy.
see that.
Yeah.
Like with TV, with everything, kind of, with cartoons. I mean, I think the world is, I think reminiscing of the good times because of all the negativity that's happening in the world. And we
Yeah.
hang on to good music, good TV, family
Mhm.
stuff,
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
people were missing that. We're lacking that. And music
Yeah.
is from the soul. And we need that. Like I can't work out without music.
Mm-hmm.
Clean the
Feed
house
your
without
soul.
music,
That's right.
I mean,
It
I
feeds your
live
soul.
for music daily.
Yeah, it feeds your soul always. Music always does. I think in my home, I don't even have a stereo or drums here or anything like that because I have music so much.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like a rule for me and the family here. My kids, they listen to music with their earbuds, but having like a stereo, like when I grew up, it was a stereo in my house and tapes and
Yes.
cassettes and all that. Music always. In my home, it's very, very quiet because when I walk out the front door, I become the musician,
You.
Tito Puente,
Yes.
the musician, and I hear music consistently in my car and the studio, the recording
Okay.
studio. I'm in the studio every week, and so when I'm home, and it's kind of like,
You
oh,
want like
it's a break.
silence, peace.
Yeah,
Yes,
a
I
little bit
got
of
it.
zen for me. But
Yeah.
music has always been a part of me, and I don't want to lose my hearing, so quiet in my house.
And you got teenagers, so
Yeah.
they usually like loud music,
Yes.
everything loud.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Are
been
they
good
are
luck.
they they're into what kind of music your children are into? Are they into Latin music, or they're more into hip hop, or there's so many different genres of
The
music
kids,
now. Emo
I'm gonna
music
say,
now.
I'm gonna go. I bought my daughter some tickets for some guy named something Orange. I had never heard of him. He's a
Orange.
young boy. He's
Really?
playing a big venue down in South Florida, and I never heard. So I'm the chaperone. It's so
Right,
awkward for
right.
me. Yeah. I'm taking her and her friends, and she's 15 years old. I don't know who the artist is. I know the bigger ones, the Justin Biebers and the
Right, me
Ariana
too,
Grande.
me too, me
Yeah,
too.
I got them, but I
Yes.
don't know these little ones. They're TikTok guys.
Orange. Oh yeah, I guess I'm
I
too old for
don't
that
know
shit.
them. I'm sorry. I was telling you earlier, when I was walking down the street in Calle Ocho, there was stages after stages of just
Yes.
artists, and they showed the lineup. I'm not familiar with them. I guess I'm missing a generation. So it's kind of awkward for me. I felt a little bit, over my time or whatever. But then I thought about it. I said, it's up to me to bridge. Thus, my last name,
Right.
Puente, means bridge. To bridge two generations together, for
Mm.
them to understand where Tito Puente and all his music came from and how it bridged into what we hear today. The trap music, the reggaeton, all
That's
that
right.
music it's derived from Mambo and SALSA and
That's
Afro-Cuban
right.
music. So but my kids, I try to turn them on to, they know Oye Como Va.
Of course, yeah.
They know that. They know Ran Can Can. They know the hit songs of Puente, but I'm not too familiar with what they listen to, although I monitor it. But I'm not really hip to it. Although, and again, you know, and you probably don't listen to the radio either. With radio, it's just, you know,
it's not the same anymore.
No.
So wait, Calle Ocho, I saw on your IG live that you forgot your sticks and you was getting like a hanger. Did you really perform with the fucking hanger though? I need to know this.
You are stalking me, girl.
I have to.
I forgot my thing. I have Timbales sticks everywhere. That I do have in the house. And I forgot them at the Calle Ocho thing. So I found a hanger or something. And I was like, I'm just going to use these. And that was it. But I got through it. I learned that from my father. My father always came up with innovative ideas where, hey, if I can't play the timbales, I'll play some garbage cans. You know, and he did it.
Right. So wait, it worked? You really played with the hangers?
Yeah, I broke some hangers up and I played them and it came out okay, I guess. I don't know. Nobody really noticed.
That's talent. Most people will be like, you know what? I'm out of, you know.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people
I don't think anybody
won't
noticed.
Go on stage if they didn't get their fucking tea. You know, people are so you know bougie nowadays. Oh, I didn't have my there's no lemon in my tea. I'm not going on stage, you know?
No, I've always been humble like that, as you know very well since we met. I've been very humble and hey, what's up, everybody? You know, and my father got me. My father was like that too, you know. He was very humble. When you walk down the streets of New York City, people come right up to him. They say hello. You know, he was very humble like that. He would take a picture with everybody, even if he was sitting down having dinner or anything like that. And I think that's where I get it from, that humbleness from my father.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I see the way you plays with passion. So did you get that from your dad, or that was already in you when you play your music and when you perform?
Being a fan of rock
passion.
Yes, of course.
Really?
And I you know, being a fan of rock music, I always looked at the drummers of my era, which was the Neil Peart, Phil Collins, Tommy Lee, Motley Crue, you know, Tico Torres, Bon Jovi. Those were my idols. And I always looked at them, even the heavier guys like the Dave Barr, the Metallica, Lars Ulrich, the Slayer.
Yes.
So I looked at
That's our generation of music, yes.
Yeah, and I would watch the music videos and you would see the passion, the headbanging and all that.
We did.
And I said, you know, that can be done. And if you watch Tito Puente, I mean, his passion and his smiling and the hands and all that, it's there. And I think that comes, I think it's maybe in my blood, or I think it's being Latino, Puerto Rican, New Yorker.
A little bit of everything.
I don't know. I don't drink coffee in the morning.
Really? Not you?
My wife scratches her head. She's like, I need coffee. And I was like, I don't. I'm just excited.
I can't function in the morning without coffee. So you have no habits, no coffee habits?
No, I don't have too many. I have a habit of annoying my family because I'm always talking and cracking jokes and they're telling me to be quiet, shut up. So.
That's too funny. Wait, I know you are a big fan of what did I just saw? Star Wars.
Yes.
You're like a junkie for Star Wars. Well, I don't get it. What is with Star Wars?
Look what I got in the mail for my son. I want this, but I got it for him. I got him a Mandalorian. Actually, this is Boba Fett, the original Boba Fett. So I'm like freaking out about it. But yes, I am a Star Wars head. I love it. I stand online for the movies. If I have to camp out, I would. But yeah, if that's the geek side of me, okay, fine. I got that.
No, I think a lot of people, I just don't get it. I'm not into Star Wars.
No, you know what? I know some people that aren't. And, you know, God bless you.
Right. When I saw it, I was like, I saw that your kids was dressed up and for his birthday, and you were like Star Wars power. I was like, he loves Star Wars.
When it comes to Halloween or any of the holidays, we get into it, and I'm glad because my wife is really the one that pushes it. She's like, we got to dress up. We did the Bride of Frankenstein last year. And
the
kids dressed up with Star Wars. And we go all out, and I appreciate that because I didn't do that prior to meeting her and not having children. You know, I always went to parties, but once you have kids, you got to think about them, you know, and what's really, you know, important, and making memories. I try to make memories for them that resonate with them. So if it's us sitting in front of a line and going to a Star Wars movie, so be it. And we do a lot of the parks. We go to Universal and Disney, you know, and all that.
Yes, of course. I love it too. Me too.
Yeah. You know, we're South Floridians now, transplanted South Floridians.
Exactly.
So we
Yes.
gotta go to the parks. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
get
love
into it.
Orlando. We're South Florida, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
So
it.
how is it now being a dad and having teenagers and going on the road and, you know, and being dad? How do you balance that?
You know, Gloria, to be honest with you, my father was on the road. He did about maybe 300 shows a year. It's a lot of time and being on the road. And my mother, thank God she's still with us today, Margie Puente. And she said, you got to go on the road. When I turned 16, I started driving very quick. Everybody wanted to drive in New York. We were like, we got to get a car and get out of here. So when I got my car, I started driving my father to all the gigs. And that's where I felt more closer to being a musician, of course, my Hispanic roots and all that. But as more and more as I get older, I start feeling the need to be with my children more, and because my father wasn't with me, and or my sister, because he was on the road so much. So for me, I pick and choose, which I'm grateful for. Pick and choose with my agents which gigs I'm going to take and how long they're going to take. You know, if they're going to put me on the road for a month or two, I have to really think about that. I'd like to take some breaks in between to spend time with my kids. And I don't want to be that absentee parent at all. And I always make sure that they come first in all my schedules, you know, where my concerts come into play. But now that they're older, they can come and travel with me.
Right. I was going to say that.
Just like I did with my father. So it's now getting much easier now. When they were smaller, I really had to make the time. But now they're older, come on over and help dad set up the drums.
That's right. I love it. I love it. It seems like I love it that you don't see a lot in our industry, really family oriented, still with the wife and happy. Like how did you do it? Like, it's so hard finding the one. And I love that the way she goes places with you and you show the love and the affection. You see it, you know, you see it.
I'll tell you the magic, and I'll tell you what really, from being with her for 10 years plus, I think the magic is that she understands what I do. She understands and she embraces that. And I've never asked her to be a part of that. She wants to be a part of that. And that to me is so refreshing, to be in a career where it does take me around the world. It takes me to many hours on airplanes and traveling and all that. But she understands it and she appreciates it. And she knows what we go through together. And she's very understanding when it comes to that. And not only that, she loves the music. She is a fan of Tito Puente music, of my father's music. And she's Puerto Rican and she's from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So she totally gets everything. Yes.
Right. And that's
understanding is plus. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
hard it's like
to be
just connect.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because I see that and when I read it and I see you doing events and I see your wife and I was like, wow, you know, you don't see that very often and happy and really enjoying your moments, you know, enjoying the journey with you. That's so important, you know?
Yeah, it is for me to have somebody that understands what I do. And, you know, it's tricky, you know, and we're in the music industry and so are you know, we've been through it. So
it's hard.
It consumes a lot of our time. And now that we get older, we choose now, how do we, you know, use our time wisely? I think time is money, you know, but I love what I do and my passion is there for it. And that's why, to be honest with you, when I'm playing up on stage, you would never know that I was upset or I had a bad day because I'm smiling all the time. But most of the time, I feel great when I'm doing my job. If you love what you do, guys, and anybody who's young out there, who definitely have a passion and love what you do, even though it can be a little bit chaotic at times, or maybe
the business side, but
it's the business side. I've had ups and downs all throughout my career, and I finally come to terms where I was, you know, pulling my hair out. Oh my God, and I need a job. And what am I going to do? And then next week I'm on tour with, you know, whoever, Santana. You know, it's up and down, and I think that's what my desire is, to be in a business that, you know, you're so like up and down like that. But overall, I get to sleep, put my head down at night, and I feel great. that I got my family, my friends, my close relatives, and everybody's in good health.
Amen. You are
Yeah.
amazing. Any other projects? So you got the album out that they
Woo.
can get up.
Let's see. What else am I doing? We're doing a documentary series on the life of my father, Tito Puente. That's going to be out hopefully by the end of this year. We had a little hiccup due to the lockdown and pandemic, but now we're back on track. I'm looking forward to getting that out there. It'll be on one of the streaming platforms. I'm not too sure whether it's Netflix or Hulu, one of them. It'll be a 8-part docu-series on the life story of Tito Puente with unreleased footage from our family archives. So you'll see Tito Puente on stage. You'll see him Christmas time, hanging out in the kitchen with the kids. You know, we were very young, holding us as babies. You'll see a lot of Tito Puente, the human side of him, and his humble beginnings, being born and raised in the streets of El Barrio, New York City, which is Spanish Harlem. And you'll see the struggle that he had with my grandmother and his father, you know, as they grew up. We're going to tell the story of Afro-Cuban music and how he really was one of the ambassadors and embraced Afro-Cuban music and brought it to the American public. And around the world, people are synonymous with Mambo and Salsa music because of Tito Puente's reign as an ambassador of that music, along with Celia Cruz and all the other great icons, Johnny Pacheco. We will all mention all of that in the docuseries. So look out for that. The trailer's being done right now, and I'm very, very excited about that, to finally tell the story, and maybe a biopic in the future too of Tito Puente, which is long overdue because a lot of fans have been asking for that. So that's really on my plate. I think I'm going to do volume 2. The record's been doing great, so I think everybody's like, hey, you know, I have so much music, Gloria. It's like I have over 10,000 arrangements of Tito Puente, so I can keep going on and do a volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. And I'm thinking about doing that.
Yes.
So
please.
So the fans are asking, the fans want it. And a lot of big things happening.
Where can I get that album? Where can I get that album on?
This album you can get on all digital. Yeah, you can get it on all digital platforms: iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. Definitely put me in your playlist. And if you want to get the hot sauces, definitely buy the record. I have it on compact disc. It's coming out on vinyl too. But the compact disc is available at Tito Puente Jr. myshopify.com. And you guys can get the 4 hot sauces. And I even throw in like a bonus CD with my homegirl, Marina Molivar. She's a fantastic singer. And so it's like 2 CDs and the 4 hot sauces for one price. It's really cool. And it's called the Salsa Bundle Pack.
Yeah, you can pick it up. With the salsa. You
put the salsa.
Right. Start dancing. We eat it there anyways while we eat, you know?
Yeah. So a lot of great things. And again, check out all the music videos. They're all on YouTube. Got a brand new one from Yolanda Duque from the album called Ebrigón El Aguacero. I got the 20 Años, which I feature my father in there. So you can just subscribe to my YouTube channel and see all the great music videos and all the great things that are coming soon from the Puente family and brand.
Yes, I'm going to post all of that, and I'm going to put all the links below so you guys can go see it and all the videos, and I'm going to promote it too because I am such a fan, and it's such an honor to have you, and that, you know, your spirit is amazing. And you are the Mambo King. I'm going to say it. You are.
Thank you.
Beyond talented and humble. And I'm proud that you're Boricua.
Hey, I would like to invite you personally to a concert. It's coming up on April 9th, and it's going to be in downtown Hollywood. Actually, everybody who's watching and listening, come to the concert. It's on April 9th. It's called the Hollywood Salsa Festival. It's with myself, Melina Molivar, Charlie Aponte, Bobby Rodriguez. It's all salsa all day long, and it's free. It's open to the public. It's outdoors, and you can bring abuela, bring abuelo, bring the family, bring your tío, your cousin, your aunt, everybody. It's going to be on Saturday, April 9th in Hollywood, Florida, at Hollywood Young Circle. All day long, and I'll be there live in concert.
Yes, I'm coming, and that's not far from me. So yes, April 9th,
so
I am there.
I invite all your listeners, and follow me on all the platforms too: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can see and stalk my life.
Yes, I do, because I'm a fan, and I think you're a genius, and you are amazing. I want to thank everybody for listening to Just Glow podcast, and don't forget to Just Glow. And thank you, Puppy. I appreciate you, and just flowers because you are amazing, and continue to grow and prosper. And blessings to your family as well.
Gracias, Glow. I love you, Gloria. You're amazing lady. And I'm
Thank you.
so happy that you and I are still friends after
Me too.
20 some odd years, over 20 some
Exactly.
odd years. It's wild, and you're doing great, girl. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Boricua,
Thank
que te
you.
lo sé.
Boricua. Salud.